got an 88 and 95.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and aloha. On behalf of the Consulate General of Japan in Honolulu and the Navy Region Hawaii, I have the great honor of welcoming you to this remembrance ceremony to pay tribute to the fallen of Pearl Harbor. At this time, I would like to ask you to please rise and join me in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. The Pacific Fleet Band will now play the national anthems of the United States and Japan. Thank you. You may be seated. I would now like to invite this morning's hosts to offer their messages. Consul General of Japan in Honolulu, Mr. Yoshinori Kodama, would you please come forward to the podium?
We are Admiral Light and Mrs. We are BANYAN. We are Admiral Tibber. We are Isoda and Mrs. and Mrs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, aloha. It is a great honor to be able to host this year's Japan Japan-US Joint Memorial Ceremony lives remembered a tribute to the fallen Pearl Harbor, together with Rear Admiral Barnett, commander of the Navy Division of Poland. I would like to begin by expressing my wholehearted appreciation to each of you for your presence here at Hong Island. Before I continue my remarks, I would like to take a moment to extend my condolences to the bereaved of the 8 crew members who passed away due to the crash of the U.S. Air Force CV-22 Osprey on November 29 on the shore of Yakushima Island in Japan. Their dedication and hard work, along with that of the men and women of the United States military who serve in Japan, are the foundation for the deterrence of the Japanese alliance. Now, at this time, I would like to offer particularly warm greetings to our friends visiting from Japan, including Mayor Isoda University, as well as Mr. Tanimoto Masakuni of the Japanese Parliamentary Committee for World Federation, representing Committee President and the member of the House of Representatives of Japan, Mr. Edo Seishi. I would also like to extend my appreciation to Mr. Khan, President of the USS Missouri Memorial Association, for his keynote speech later. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here once again to honor and to pay tribute to the nearly 2,400 US service members and civilians, 56 Japanese aviators, and 9 Japanese submariners, who had their futures, their dreams, and their hopes brought to a calamitous end. As a Consul General of Japan in Honolulu, I offer my deepest and most heartfelt condolences to the souls of the fallen of both the United States and Japan sides here at Pearl Harbor. Today's ceremony, which originated from a small service at a local temple, began as an offshore event in 2016 with support by the US Navy, veterans groups, and various Japanese-American organizations in the local community 7 years ago. In the same year, the leaders of our 2 nations, the late former Prime Minister Abe and former President Obama, came to visit and pay their respects at the USS Arizona Memorial at the 75th anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack. Immediately after, in a joint statement, the 2 leaders emphasized the power of reconciliation as destination once thought to be unreachable, paved by those who have a great vision for humanity that surpass the stagnant realms of acrimony brought on by the devastating war. 82 years have passed, and our 2 nations, former adversaries in a fierce war, have come to share one of the closest relationships in the world. The Japan-US alliance, which is rooted in our shared values of freedom, democracy, and the rule of law, has never been stronger. And it will continue to play a pivotal role in maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific, and to ensure the peace, stability, and prosperity of the region. We will remain committed to strengthening our partnership for the sake of the citizens of our respected nations and the children, grandchildren, and the great-grandchildren. In this quiet harbor, we hope we honor those we lost, and we extend our gratitude to them for all that our 2 nations have built together, as friends and lovers. Moving forward, it is my sincere wish that through this annual joint ceremony, the future generations of both nations will continue to remember Pearl Harbor as a symbol of reconciliation and friendship. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my sincere appreciation once again to all of you for joining us in the sharing of sentiments of condolences and the remembrance for the fallen here at Pearl Harbor, and to reaffirm the close friendship between the United States and Japan. Thank you very much. Mahalo.
I would now like to ask the Commander of the U.S. Navy Region Hawaii, Rear Admiral Stephen D. Barnett, to offer his remarks.
Council General, thank you. Thank you for your partnership in this important ceremony. Governor Green, Mayor Blanchard, good to see you, sir. Mayor Soto, thank you for your office visit yesterday. Admiral Rutherford, it's good to see you as always. Other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Council General, we sincerely appreciate you and your team, and thank you for leading this tribute to all, and I want to say all of the fallen of Pearl Harbor. Miasama, Ohio, gozaimasu. Today is the culmination of a series of commemorations. It gives us the opportunity to contemplate what happened here on Oahu more than eight decades ago. But more importantly, these events allow us the opportunity to remember, the opportunity to honor all those who were lost in the Second World War following that fateful day back in 1941. But today, we gather here on this sacred ground to reflect. We gather here to consider how much the world has actually changed since our nations were at war. We gather here to embrace the friendship and the cooperation that binds our nations together. And we gather here to recognize the peace, to recognize the stability, and to recognize the prosperity that we are both pledged to defend. From the ashes of war, a friendship was forged between our two nations. A friendship forged for more than 8 decades of shared values, of shared concerns, and shared interests. Since the end of World War II, the vastness of the Pacific Ocean seems to have grown a little bit smaller. But make no mistake about it, new threats to peace and stability have emerged. But fortunately, new connections have emerged when former adversaries have the interests just like we did, and we become friends. We are intertwined. Our nations are closer than ever before, and we'll stay close. We stand ready together. We stand resolute together, and we stand determined together. The alliance between the U.S. and Japan is the cornerstone of peace, the cornerstone of prosperity. It's also the cornerstone of security in the region. Our alliance is the most crucial in the world right now for the 21st century. By virtue of our demonstrated combined strength and our commitment to each other, we show our enduring support for a free and open Indo-Pacific. You know, right here in the harbor behind me, it's become a common sight here to see ships of the Kaijo Jeitai, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, who are here to come and visit Pearl Harbor. We're honored to offer them the hospitality of the islands while our forces carry out mutually beneficial training exercises. It makes me feel good when I see the sailors here at Pearl Harbor, and you've heard me say this before, sailors have a lot in common, our sailors and your sailors. Whether it's shopping, whether it's going to the McDonald's, it makes me good to see our sailors interacting. RIMPAC is a vivid example of the friendship and cooperation that exists between our two awesome nations. It's a biennial exercise that supports and more importantly strengthens the military relationships between Japan and the United States, but also from other partners and friends and other allies. RIMPAC is vital. It's vital to promoting peace and stability in the region while deterring potential conflict. Now, going beyond the training exercises, the U.S. Navy and the JMSDF work side by side in disaster relief and humanitarian missions. Side by side, we operate to combat piracy. Side by side, we assist vessels in distress. And side by side, we provide maritime security in the Western Pacific. So, as we continue our mutual commitment for a free and open Indo-Pacific, we remember our past and the journey and the sacrifices that bring us here today. With honor, we remember the fallen and the sacrifice and the tragedy of war. With courage, we reflect on our partnership of peace with Japan. With commitment, we stand at the ready. Together, we must and we will continue to preserve the peace and preserve the aloha we all share together. Thank you for attending today and remembering all those who sacrificed so we are free to share in today's peace and prosperity. Thank you for your determination to preserve that freedom as our committed partners. Thank you very much. Mahalo. Domi arigato. Gozaimasu.
Next, we have a very special message from Mr. Seishiro Eto, member of the House of Representatives of Japan and the President of the Japanese Parliamentary Group for World Federation. It will be read by Mr. Masakuni Tanimoto, Under Secretary General of the Japanese Parliamentary Group for World Federation.
Commander Barnett, Consul General Kodama, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, aloha. I'm Masakuni Tanimoto. Today, our President Seishiro Eto unable to attend due to official duties. Therefore, I have brought a special message on his behalf. And as the Under-Secretary General of the Japanese Parliamentary Group for World Federation, I will read it aloud. Commander, Navy Region Hawaii, United States of America, and Consul General of Japan in Honolulu. I am honored to have the opportunity to send a special message in this lives remembered, a tribute to the fallen of Pearl Harbor. I would like to express my deep respect to all those who are involved in this event, and to those who have participated in it from various parts of the world, including from afar, for their efforts to make it an annual event, which began in 2016, when then President Obama and Prime Minister Abe both visited Pearl Harbor on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. I also deeply appreciate the tolerance of the United States of America, and I would like to offer my deepest condolences to those who lost their lives in the unfortunate history that took place here 82 years ago, whether from the United States of America, Japan, or various other countries. And to express my deepest sympathy to the bereaved families. We, the Japanese Parliamentary Group for World Federation, are organized aimed at building a system where the world unites to strive for the world peace. Our organization includes more than 100 Japanese National Diet members of the House of Representatives and the House of Councilors. It is also includes Prime Minister and speakers of the National Diet, etc. The World Federalist Movement of Japan is not only the Japanese Diet member, civil society organization, religious leaders group, academic groups, and local governments also participates in the movement, which of course interdenominational and non-partisan. According to the data at hand, in Japan, in December 1945, following World War II, senior Diet member Mr. Yukio Ozaki, who is still revered in Japan as the god of constitutional politics, submitted to the Diet resolution on our movement. Then, In the years commemorating the establishment of the United Nations and Japan joining the United Nations, the House of Representatives and House of Councilors adopted resolution of search and quest for a roadmap to World Federation. We will continue to strive for peace in the world. In the midst of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, and the chaotic situation in East Asia, I would like to deliver my message in the hope that this ceremony will overcome history to continue as a symbol of reconciliation and friendship between the United States and Japan, and to deepen the bonds between the people of both countries and the rest of the world. Thank you very much. The best health to you, President of the Japanese Parliamentary Group for World Federation, 57th Minister of State for Defense, Member of House of Representatives of Japan, Seishiro Eto. That concludes the reading on behalf of our President. Thank you so much for your attention. Mahalo.
Next, I would like to invite to the podium this morning's keynote speaker, Mr. Michael Carr, President and CEO of the USS Missouri Memorial Association.
Governor Green, Mrs. Green, Mayor Van Giardi, Governor Barnett, Mayor Isoda, Governor Ige, and all distinguished guests, good morning, aloha, and ohayo gozaimasu on this very beautiful day. Thank you, Consul General Kodama, for giving me the honor to speaking at this very important remembrance. I know also that the reason for honoring me so was due to my having been granted the Order of the Rising Sun, gold rays with neck ribbon by the Japanese government earlier this year. When I received the award from prior Consul General Oki, I stated that although my name was on the award, I was accepting on behalf of our entire organization, our board of directors, our staff, and volunteers, all of whom have played a part in determining that the battleship Missouri, built as an instrument of war, has indeed become an international symbol of peace and reconciliation, particularly between Japan and the United States. And incidentally, the award is on permanent display in our wardroom. I'd be delighted to show it to anybody who would like to see it. The partnership between our two countries began on her decks on September 2nd, 1945, when World War II was brought to a close and the world heard General Douglas MacArthur say these words: "It is my earnest hope, and indeed the hope of all mankind, that from this solemn occasion a better world shall emerge, a world founded upon faith and understanding, a world dedicated to the dignity of man and the fulfillment of his most cherished wish for freedom, tolerance, and justice." But the ship had even before that served as a model for humanity when the captain and crew honored the kamikaze pilot who hit the ship during the Battle of Okinawa on April 11, 1945, by rendering full military funeral honors to the pilot. When President Obama and the late Prime Minister Abe met in Pearl Harbor in December of 2016, President Obama told the story of this incident and how it reflected on the best of who we are. Our permanent exhibit on the ship tells that story, and our partnership with the Churan Peace Museum in Kitakyushu allows us to display some of the last letters written by the Tokotai. They're very moving. In October 2015, we entered into a sister museum partnership with the Kure Maritime Museum to promote international peace through cultural and education exchanges. Together, we create opportunities for youth from both countries to increase awareness of the lessons of war. We recently renewed our loan agreements for artifacts from the Missouri that are on display at the Yamato Museum, which is a part of the Kure Maritime Museum. Our team just visited Kure to renew agreements and discuss ideas for future exchanges. We have partnered with the Hiroshima Peace Museum to display and tell the story of the atom bombs which destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II to all of our visitors. The first display unfortunately happened during the worst of the pandemic in 2020 and few people got to see it. But we have already in discussions with them to bring it back on the 80th anniversary in 2025. In 2017, myself along with several staff members made a trip to Japan to personally return Admiral Yamamoto's battle flag from the battleship Nagato that had been housed in our collection. How it got into our collections is a very interesting but also quite a long story, which I'll skip this morning. While in Nagaoka, which is Yamamoto's hometown, we cemented a strong partnership with Nagaoka City, one of Honolulu's sister cities, along with Hiroshima, and I'm delighted to see Mayor Isoda here this morning from Nagaoka City. It was Nagaoka City that provided their famous fireworks for the Honolulu Festival earlier this year, and are already planning to do so again in 2025 on the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. Our mission is to preserve the battleship Missouri and to share her stories and place in history. It is her rich and honorable history which brings the ship to life, including the stories which I've just described. Having spent my high school years attending boarding school in Japan, it is especially wonderful for me to know that the ship which is under my care has become an important symbol of the strength of the partnership between Japan and the United States. On behalf of our entire organization, I thank you again for this great honor and the honor of speaking at the ceremony today. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
We will now be proceeding to the wreath presentation by the representatives of the United States and Japan. May I ask Governor Green, Rear Admiral Barnett, and Consul General Kodama to please come forward. This concludes this morning's ceremony. Thank you very much for your kind attendance.